Hello and welcome, as it is the 21st day of January 2018. My name is Derek. Everything you do is within your own risk and your own reward. And I'm just looking at this chart for the first time seconds before pushing the record button. As I thought, let's just look at a bunch of codes that I didn't look at yesterday, or ones that I looked at yesterday. I want to take a quick look again if they have been moving in some direction. And when I look at this one, I see a decent gain right at Christmas time, going from the 175 handle with 2 zeros to the 125 handle with 1 zero. So that's about a 6-7x gain. Really beautiful. And I'm looking for opportunities to possibly day trade today, which is why I'm making this video. Go through a whole bunch of different situations. So what do I see here? The market has already come back down to this level here. So generally speaking, if you see a pattern like this and it has some sort of break it, which it has had, if it's able to come back to where it came from, which is what it's looking to, that area is right here. So let's take a look at this on a shorter term time frame, 30 minutes, and I haven't looked at this. Okay, so it's just made its move a few hours ago and came back down to its 18 average of highs, but this is really long term for what I need. Let's even shorten it to the 5. One way of playing this, and I'm not going to do it, I don't think, is buying small now and then playing some Fibonacci downside, because what I'm looking for is on a move is a rally, which obviously occurred, then the original sell-off, which brings us to the low of 7905. Let me bring up my calculator that I made, and it's something I used going back to my computer programming. It's just small, like basic, that's it, basic, like from the old school 1990s. That's the language that I'm used to writing. And it makes it to this high here at about 997, well, 9923, we'll call it 9936 here. So a down target of 6,800 is what we're looking at. So let's see if this level has any type of relevance. So let's draw a line here. Of course, I've made too many of them. And I think I did the horizontal ray. I need to do a line that will always stick it, because I want to look at this on a long-term time frame. So let's just do a horizontal line. Again at the 68. And I'm going to also want to look at other Fibonacci too, but I can pretty much tell that. So anyway, let's take a look at this again on a more longer term time frame. Yeah, that's a more appropriate area, and I think it would even pierce below that as well. So let's take a look at this even further now. Oh, big time, big time, big time. So I am now going to put a buy order in somewhere around here. Let's look at the next code. And let's move on to LITECOIN, which is pretty high in volume. And this is why the log charts don't work on this site. They just can't handle going under the 100 number. So let's look at this on a linear fashion. It's had a remarkable gain. I know it had one recently last year as well. Okay, so let's take a look at this on the Poloniex site. Yeah, so there's that rally. So what we're going to need to do here is calculate some Fibonacci. And it looks like it's a matching low. It pretty much is. So I'm just going to use the 44 number with the high in at 838. So we have key numbers in at 136 and 272. with the 76.4 and at 418. You know, this is one of those cases where I need to push the log, but yeah. Let me take a look at this on another site. And we use cryptocurrency market, and I finally turned my B3 into BK3. I bought B3 back late last year. I bought about a half a Litecoin worth, I think. I got 200,000 of them. Finally, I'm able to sell them for 4.5 cents each. Oh, that sounds good, but I'm only gonna get 200 of them. Yeah, that's not so good. Let's take a look at see a coin on this chart here. So let's click on the log scale. Yeah, so you see how it's really close to this previous high in here. So I think if there's going to be any dip back, I'm looking at this previous resistance area around 239-ish or so. What does that lie in with the fib? 272. And they usually pierce extra, so 250 is definitely a spot where I possibly want to get into an entry point. Let's look at the next code. And we're going to take a look at Ripple, which is also high. And I'm looking at the major volume. Now, as far as its weekly chart, matching hit, and it has retraced down to the 18 average of highs. It's already had a little bit of a rally towards this point. So now you're going to be looking at key Fibonacci from this area here, which I want to look at on a shorter term time frame. And on the daily chart, what we see is the rally pretty much coming down to a 38.2% correction, has had a little bit of a move up in here. So therefore, if markets start to fall below this 18 average, you're probably looking for a price move back down to this area of where it came from, which works out very well. So I'm looking at around this 50, well, a little 6,000, and even piercing down to about 5,300, 55,000 to 6,000. As the area which this market should go to if it does fall down. There's going to be a lot of wild volatile swings, most likely within the Ripple, both up and down as it continues to move forward. Right now, I don't want any part of it. I'm not going to put any buy orders in. I'm just going to keep watching it, and if I see the price go anywhere near there, or if there's any type of cautionary signs, then I'll place buy orders in, because I like to do that. If you see price action, say up around in here, and you have your buy orders in, because one, you don't need no time needed. You can check back days later and you're usually fine. But a lot of times if it goes down there quickly, it's so fast. You have to be there to get those prices. But I only have so many buy orders in, and you have to manage them as well, especially on Bittrex. But I'm basically looking for quick plays in and out, so it kind of works out well, but nothing yet for Ripple. Let's move on to voxels, and interesting look with some of these moves. Almost worth playing the buy low, sell high strategy. And I'm considering doing this right now. And basically the strategy is you have your buy orders low, sell orders high. When you get into it, this is where you want to get into it, points where it's at lower areas, like the 18 average of lows, definitely below it as well. But you see all these pierces, and in this case, both up and down. And a lot of the cryptos seem to be pierces above, which makes sell orders being the premium thing to look for. However, when we look at this on a shorter term time frame, let's move this on to say an hour chart. Any sell orders here got hit. So the secret, or the play, is you buy some. So right now you're buying at the low 3,000s. And you place sell orders in. Maybe you have, you place them up and towards here. Where's your next buy order going to be? Well, you could, depending on how volatile you want, how many you have, you could definitely play first towards a small pierce below in here, which is around the 28 handle down to about the high 27s. And then this move here brings it down to about 25. So those are areas in which you'd be looking to play short term. And then when you look at this also on the more long term, this is a chart that I hate looking at it like this, because I like to look at what each candle means. So instead of looking at this way, I'd rather look at like a 3-day, 4-day, or 5-day or something. So yeah, the 3-day chart. Up and down, choppily coming back to where it came from last April and last summer. Start of summer, end of spring. We can see several times in which it is chopping up and down. But that's exactly what I want to have on the buy low, sell high strategy, is markets that do chop up and down. But it does look as if the potential may be there for it to at least hold and stay above this key area. Because this level of resistance now, starting here in April, got tested in here, extended a little bit, and it played around with it a little bit more compared to here where it just sold off quickly. And this one, this rally now had again a decent pierce larger than it was before. Keyword is pierce, not a breakout above. Attempted it, but it is still far holding it, and it's at the lower end of what this range, what you'd be hoping to be, which is in the area of around 2,500 to around 5,000. So obviously 3,100 is on the lower part of it. So yeah, I'm going to be buying some right now and looking to put orders in later on. What I've done is I've placed a buy order to get more at 2,500 if it goes down towards this area. A very small sell order up towards this high in here. Another small sell order up towards the 33 high change, twice the size at this level, and I still got tokens coins back, and I'd be looking to put another sell order probably at around 5,000. So that's what I'll do, the remainder at 5,000. And actually second that, I'll sell half of what I have left at, or I sold half of what I had left at 5,000, and the other half at well past 10,000, because I think if it breaks this level, it's going to do better than 100% gain on the break of resistance. Let's move on to MEME, M-E-M-E, which I first looked at this on the 10-minute time frame, and it's got a nice little entry set up, looking into form after this rally that occurred hours ago. And then had a little bit of retracement, and the 18 average going sideways for a little bit, breaking out, coming back to this level. But I have to see, is it something that I really want to get into? First off, where's the price target? And I didn't mean to click on that. Let me just, maybe that's what they're trying to tell. I mean, that's just always up in this area. If I look at the next level, we're looking at 7,600. And we're at 66 now, so about a 15% gain, which for an intraday move, I think is very much viable. On the daily chart, it's very choppy. Again, good for the buy low, sell high, an intermediately decent time to buy now. It could go down the 18 average and down below here. And that's, of course, if this even area holds, because you never know about going back to the December lows. 3-day time frame. Okay, interesting. This is sweet, actually, because the last few periods in here have been holding and staying above the key levels from the summer point. What's up with this period here? A high of 18,172. Nice selling, whoever got your sell orders in there, which is, and all these different pierces. So yeah, it's looking like I'm going to want to swing trade this on a short-term time frame, I think. Let's move on to the next chart. Move on to SYNC, SYNX, on its daily time frame. It's got an interesting pattern where it's been supporting the 18 average of lows on the daily chart within this run higher from the middle point of December. Nice little resistance point here coming back. Twice it did it in here. Now it's had it as well. Am I going to say it's going to come back to it again? Well, it might take a few days to do it, but notice after each gain here, you had 3 red down days, you had 4 red down. Here you had a significant red day down and several days of sideways choppy consolidation where it ended up correcting to the 18 average through that of time. So I would definitely not want to be a buyer just simply looking at this on the daily chart. Let's take a look at this on a shorter term time frame, say the 2-hour time frame. Short term, maybe there might be a little bit of scalping available, but other than that, I still would have to at least think maybe back down to this this handle down towards here, the highs and resistance of January. So let's look at this even shorter, 10 minutes, say. So you had a huge move that just happened recently. And I'm looking at top volume on Bittrex, and I'm looking at the ones that have significant moves, ones I haven't looked at, stuff like that. This is one of them. So how this is going to hold. Now, whether you can just put a buy in here and hope to sell up towards this level in here, tough to say. I've seen on a small exchange that there's a buy order available at 7,000 is the highest bid. So you know what? I'm going to put a bid higher than that and hope it comes through. There's not much more I can do with it myself. But the whole thing again is when markets go, they go. And the big thing about it is if you have the market in here, any of these times, you can't tell that it's going to just break out and just have this huge gain. And if you're fast enough, or if you had a sell order in here, if you're playing that short term, where do you buy back? Well, back within the 18 average and maybe a 61.8% from this low, which is roughly around where it came back to. Okay, there's... Oh, wow. See, that's the thing. When they go, they go. And that's why if you just have your sellers, next thing you know, if you look at your account, boom, 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 maybe you have 5 sellers here. Seller here, 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 and maybe 2 or 3 left back. And then all of a sudden now, you can buy back a couple of them immediately and then place the buy orders again lower. Let's finish this off with a more longer term chart. Last year, it held and stayed above nicely this little area of support, which was the end of 2017, basically early 2017 resistance. So now I'd be looking for it to hold and stay above roughly around in here. And obviously, because this thing is just getting going, we have a green candle up on a move that eventually got above the 18 average, back down to the 18 average of highs. Consolidation point after the red. Decent green candle that's preceding the current one. And of course, now it's breaking above this resistance. This thing could be ready to go for big gains. And it also could come back and settle in and find support in this little thing. So definitely something that could have major moves going forward. Okay, New Bits has got big volume, and it's been getting its ass kicked like no other. Is this a indication that it's going to bottom? Let me just see what the volume looked like even before this. So it's been getting larger and larger and larger as time has been going on. I have no idea what this code is, if one would even want to try to speculate, because it's never really had any sustained run other than some moves here and there that have given small bear market gains. Within the daily time frame, the 18 average starting to go sideways, but this volume, whether this indicates that this thing is ready to go, if you have the guts to stomach a market that's been in a downtrend, because when we take a look at this now, we're looking at something that's priced in at about 5,000, that if it comes back to even this level of support here, you're talking about 12,000. That's not the greatest of gains, of course. If it comes back to its earlier part of the year, I don't want anything to do with it. Let's move on to the next one because it's already 20 minutes almost. This is Rise, and it's the daily time frame. So after the decline from September down to December, it's basically rallied 61.8%, and then it's corrected, finding support at these previous resistance peaks, but mainly going sideways for quite some time. When we take a look at this on a weekly time frame, The price action is holding the 18 average of highs. So whether this is something you want to get into, I did earlier and I got some of this nice gain, but I don't stomach any possibility of wanting to play this unless I knew there was good fundamental reasons. If you know, let me know, but I don't expect that. Let's move on to the next one. And then we have Mona, which I've talked about a little bit before, just recently. I think I did anyway, but price action barely getting above this 18 average, going sideways. A little bit of a pullback. Short term, when we take a look at this, say in the 3-hour time frame, it's at the 18 average of lows, but it has been there for quite some time. I would have been more optimistic to maybe buy this 8-9 hours ago than I would be today, or well, at this time. And I look at this on the 1-hour time frame. If you do a short-term scalp on this, you're pretty much looking to have a decent leg. But I look at the move here, come down, 18 average of highs hit, and then you're right back down to where you came from quickly thereafter. Usually what's going to happen is it's going to go sideways in low volatility for a while, maybe even have a small lower high rally come up. But then I wouldn't be surprised if it breaks the support, has significant leg lower. I'd be looking down towards here. On the more longer term time frame, there's a decent amount of gap fill, so I don't think I want to speculate. Let's move on to the next one. ENG is a new one, Enigma, and it's making a choppy, or not choppy, but it's in this range. There's support resistance up here, so it makes this high low well lower than this one. It's looking like it's going to make a lower or higher low. So a lot of neutrality there. But I think if it does that, more of just holding within this area, and it's already done it for enough time as far as I'm concerned, that any type of move breaking above this resistance in here should give us a reason that this thing could break new highs. And let's move on to the next code. This is MCO, Monaco. And in December, after the downtrend, it had a very large amount of volume, December the 5th. Since then, it has done well in establishing the resistance between the 130 handle up to about the 160 handle. It had an uptrend line which was taken out. You can pretty much see the one that I'm talking about, but this one in here, since the trend broke, it did nothing more than just go sideways in this manner. It's in the middle part of the sideways range. Now, as it plays out, again, though, is this an indicator that this is going to be a prelude to a move of greater gains? Because once you get above this resistance area here, and that's what sometimes you just want to wait for it to happen, because you don't know how long it's going to be, you don't know if it's going to break. You can spend a long time waiting within a sideways consolidation period before you get the gains, which overall I think is a decent strategy in cryptos, especially when you just don't know. You buy when they're cheap and just wait for them to go high. You wait by having sell orders in, and when they're there, you go. But you want to oftentimes just wait for those situations where you pay the higher prices, let's say around the 19 handle, because by doing so, you feel you can make it up to into the 30s, and you probably shouldn't take much time to get there. Okay, NXT, that's the next one on this list. I remember trading this back before the breakout, and I actually played within this rally, and I did well on it. The only reason I played it was because it had a nice breakout pattern. I can't remember if I played on the break here or the break above here, but this is when I was trading. I think I traded this either on Poloniex or HIT BTC. I don't trade on either site right now. I'm only trading on 3 exchanges, one being Bittrex. And within such, I see this resistance here. It's ever since this down move had a small rally. It comes back to where it came from here, and it's just been resisting, and now it looks as if this thing might be ready for a decent leg lower to another, who knows, down towards here. Let's take a look at the short term. It's grinding its way. It is going on low volume, may I point out, of course. But if you're looking for a situation, especially if you think this is a good coin, and you want to find entry spots, not bad now, because the gamble is, instead of buying now, you're like, oh, it could come back down maybe to about maybe the 2000 handle, even into the teens, 1600, 1700. Definitely a possibility. And it's times where if you were playing it before for the market to go lower, we can see in here all of these buy fills, all the sell fills come. Sell fill, buy fill. And it's been quite often that this has been doing this. Because this is like that roller coaster ride, especially since 2016 begun. 2016, whatever you have for tokens, you buy a little bit before the rally because it was going lower. Everything got sold. Well, pretty much a lot of stuff got sold. Stuff you bought back here wouldn't have. Although it would have got sold recently in here. And then it goes back down. So what you sold here, you buy back down here. What you sold in here, you buy back here. And what you sold as it was breaking out in here, all these early breakout sales, you could have sold at this bottom. And then, or bought back rather at this bottom. And then you sell, buy back here, a little small sell order here. Nothing but buying in here, but then nothing but selling on the way up. And now you're getting nothing but buying. So how much lower this can go? Well, this was a pretty decent decline and for quite some time as well. So it's tough to determine, but the strategy for NXT is way up, way down, and it's been going way down. A lot of times I'm talking about what I need to see markets do is hold and stay above key areas when you have a major resistance breakout. And this line area here at around the 6,000 handle is what I would consider that major level. So I need to see it hold and stay above it for a significant period of time. So I'm pretty concerned that the last several weeks it was unable to find support. Well, basically around 4,000 or 5,000 in this area here. Definitely a lot of speculation. If you know things fundamentally, there's a lot of gains to be had by buying now. Varium will be the final one. And I talked about this earlier. I wanted to see how this thing was going to stay and hold above a particular area, because this thing did make this low come up to the 18 average of really closes, I guess you could say it got to, and it's starting to fall down, but it's coming a little closer than what I would want on a bullish level. If we take a look at this on a more longer term time frame, I need to see it stay and hold above this key little area for a decent period, but it is back to like this point in here. I'm probably going to stay away from it. Actually, let's just see what else I can find, just because I could do about a half hour or a bit more. Take a look at library credits, LBC, which had a nice little rally from December on to this point. Now, you come down a bit below the 18 average, and it looks like it also might be looking to roll over, maybe fill in some of this area here, maybe in the area of around 3,000-4,000 as a possibility, but somewhere in the 3,000s. When we take a look at this on a more longer term view, you have a situation in which you, let's just use a 3-day chart to look a bit better. You have the nice little rally into 2017, the sell-off, which has then come up for the decent rally here. Now, how much is this going to correct back? And will it be a strong buy point? Because it does seem as if this thing may be ready to revert trend, because now with the reversal of trend, stage 1 band flattening out, which was November into December, stage 2 established resistance, which is what it has done here, stage 3 come back. So the 18 average of lows is at around 4,700, And of course, you never know if it could pierce below it and then come back. But this thing could even go sideways for a bit. But I do like this volume that came in here, which could indicate there's a good chance that we will get through all stages with stage 4 breaking established resistance. And then when you're talking about gap fill, yeah, there's gap fill on the way down here, but there's a lot of gap fill on the way up, which is what the whole point is when you're trying to think, okay, let's get in here. Well, if you buy at 6,000 and you're looking to profit take at around 20,000, you're looking at basically about triple up. If you do a situational play like this and win half of them and the other half goes to nothing, and that's not going to happen, well, then you're going to do really, really well. So, all right, let's end this video. Thank you for tuning in and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.